Squad.
Yo, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Squad Talk. It's your boy DJ Mav coming at you. In today's episode, I am joined by electronic music producer, Future Elevator. What is going on, my boy? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Man.
Yo, you actually just got done dropping a sick set for the Turn Up Friday show, which is going to air Friday on 100.9 The Heat. So you played a ton of original music in that set, right? The first part of it.
True.
So, talk to us about that process, because that's a lot of music for you to be able to fill an entire set. How often do you produce? Like, how many tracks do you pump out?
So, yeah, I mean, it's an everyday thing. It's pretty much my life. I kind of went out of my way to really honestly strip unnecessary things from my life to spend even more time doing it. I don't know exactly how the quote goes, but Illmind, huge producer, that's one thing that he says is like, just literally get rid of everything and just focus on your music at all times. And so I try to do that as much as possible. Right now, I'm working on basically dropping a beat every month. So I'm really kind of putting a lot of time and effort and utilizing the full month to create each beat. I normally will crank out like a rap beat, like 2 or 3 at a time, like if I'm kind of stuck on my personal project, just to like practice and work on melodies and creating drum rhythms and stuff. And so it's kind of like almost like toss away beats, but they're there for if anybody wants to utilize them. So
yeah,
I would say once a month right now is kind of the frequency as far as like dropping music. But this year is kind of the start of me really feeling pretty confident with what I've been making. For a minute, I was making stuff that people were like, yeah, this is dope, but I personally was not there. And they talk about I forget what it's called. I think it's the knowledge gap or the experience gap, where basically you get into something and it's like, oh yeah, like I have like my idols and they're the reason that I got into it, right? And they're up here, but then your music's here. And so that gap between what you actually listen to and what you're making is constantly what you're trying to like bridge, essentially. Yeah. And I feel like I'm a lot closer. I'm definitely not there for sure, but I'm a lot closer to, like, that gap is narrowed a lot. So like I feel a lot better about my music. I'm like hyped on it. I'm like stoked to drop it.
Do you feel like there's ever that time where you, like as a creative, we're always comparing ourselves, right? Like you just said, like to the people that we grew up listening to or whatever. And obviously we go through these progressions where we get better and better at our art, creating our art. But is there ever that moment where you kind of, some people get to a point where you just realize, I'm never going to sound like that guy, and I'm okay with that because I sound like me?
100%. I mean, that's the goal. For a while, I mean, the key word for me here is artist identity. That's huge. Making your own sonic identity as a musician, to where, like, if you heard the Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites album, you would know instantly that that's Skrillex from the way it sounds. Like, it's just, it's known. Like, other big artists as well, they have like key features that, like a snare that's distorted a certain way, or like a certain kind of like bass growl or whatever, and you just know that that's them. So I mean, that's the goal for me, is to create an all original sonic realm that's all stuff that I've created, so that way it sounds new. Because really the goal for me is, I don't want the response to be, oh, that reminds me of this. I'm hoping the response is, this is crazy, like almost borderline, maybe too much, but that's pushing the bounds as far as I'm concerned.
Right, for sure, man. So let's talk about the festival that you're involved with, right? Vibey. You have been a part of that for how long? Was it like last year or 2 years ago when you first got involved?
I actually just saw a photo come up from 2019. So yeah, it's been a few years now that I've been working with them. They're a really cool group of dudes. It's actually a great segue from that conversation, because I would say the overall like theme behind both the artists and just the mentality of the people involved in Vibey is passionately trying to do something new and different.
Yeah.
And both the artists we curate, as well as like our stage design, being an outdoor desert festival, like camping, it's very like low key. You got to be, really kind of like ahead in the sense of like into that stuff, like you can't show up with no food and thinking that you can buy your food all weekend. Like,
Like another type of festival.
Yeah, like we might have like a food vendor or two, but like everyone's kind of responsible for their own stuff. And that's like part of the vibe is like it's that very underground feel, but you don't have to worry about the like raids or anything like that because it's a legitimate festival.
Right. That's cool. That reminds me of, I've never been to this, but I've always thought it was super interesting, was like that Burning Man festival, right?
Yeah.
Where you got to bring all your stuff.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, I just seen a documentary on that on YouTube, and I was like, I used to not get it, but after I saw that documentary, I was like, yo, that looks really fun, actually.
Yeah, it's an experience. It's something that I haven't had a chance to go yet. I have a whole bunch of friends that are burners, and they do it regularly, and they talk about it all the time. It's a whole different society that goes on with Burning Man. It's definitely an experience.
That's pretty epic. So when you got involved with this, how did that happen? Just networking, doing events, or how did you come across this group of people?
There was this event thrown by the homie Two Door, Animals in the Room, and it was called Pass the Aux. And Woolly Mammoth and She were headlining it, and they had a side stage, and basically when you got there, you would enter a raffle. If they pulled your ticket, you got to perform. My ticket got pulled. I got to perform. That was when I met Liquid Mark, who's co-founder of Vibey, and also our good friend Zach Defadil as well, who was working with us last year. And I mean, they were just cool people into good music. They vibed with like what I was doing, and I also saw like an opportunity to become part of something. It seemed production-wise like they were looking for somebody to fill that position, and production's what I do full time, so it's definitely something I'm interested in. And I was like, I think this is a good opportunity for me to like help them out and be a part of it. Yeah. So I ended up becoming their lighting guy, investing in my own lighting equipment, and now I'm helping them just overall like produce the festival and make it happen and try to run smoothly. It's a lot of fun.
That's pretty epic, man. That's like the definition of taking advantage of all the opportunities. You know, like most people would just see that and think, I get to DJ in this. Like, that's what I want. Well, you've seen that, and then you're like, well, there's also opportunity here.
Totally,
and
yeah.
There and there, you know what I'm saying?
And, you know, I'll be humble in the sense that, while I think my music's cool, and there's people that think my music's cool, it's not quite there yet where it's able to pull the rep on its own. Mm-hmm. So being able to do these other things, like all these production aspects that I know, it helps me get my foot in the door with people, because definitely my ability to do production, my offer of like being able to do lighting and stuff, it definitely got their heads turned. And then from there it was like, okay, now we're listening more so to your music. Wow, you've got a really like talented ability to make music as well. Aside from these. So like it's a competitive ass world. So
it is. That reminds me of the cameraman trick. Right? Have I had this conversation with you?
No, I'm not familiar.
So the cameraman trick is what I call it, and pretty much, if you're a photographer or a videographer, but you're also an artist, that camera will get you into so many rooms.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so many festivals and so many dope things. Because all you got to say is like, I'm a photographer, bro. Let me come shoot you. Yeah. Whatever. Oh yeah, I'm doing a festival here and here. I need. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And that's how you develop these relationships. Totally. Yeah. Right. And then when the time is right, you don't want to shove your product down their throat. Right. But just like, oh, by the way, I also do this and I also do that. Right. Right. So like, that was your version of it. Yeah. Right. Which is pretty sick. Yeah. That and your your willingness to do something for the sake of wanting to do it. That means so much to a majority of people. Like, to try to be a part of something because like, oh, maybe like you think there's some sort of like a gain for you personally or something like that. Like, I mean, everyone's doing it. It's LA. That's like how it is out here. Yeah. But like, to want to just be a part of something, like, we, for the most part, are all out of our own pocket for Vibey. Yeah. Like, that's something that probably should be stated like more often, just because we're not necessarily, obviously we needed to get some money out of it in order to stay like afloat. Mm-hmm. But for us, we just really want to throw a good festival with good artists, like a good time for people, like a total vibe. And each year that we've done it, never had any issues with like people, never had any issues with like artists or anything like that. It's always been a really good time, and it's just like an investment for us all. So like that definitely resonates a lot with people. The fact that when I reached out to them, I'm like, yeah, like, I'm trying to invest in more gear that can be beneficial for your festival. It'd be dope to go showcase it, be a part of this. Like,
you guys are chill, and so that friendship just like forms like that.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So that's a key right there for all the listeners. We get a lot of like producers, artists, and stuff to listen to that podcast, and networking and just finding a way to go around this business is a big part of it. So finding a skill, something that you can contribute other than what your talent is. Most people are singers, rappers,
and willingness to help.
Willingness to help, to be a part of it, right? Yeah. And knowing that, just playing your part sometimes. Just playing your part. Sometimes you're not always going to be the headliner. You're not always going to be the main guy. But doesn't mean you can't be a part of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what's up, bro. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into the record that you came and dropped today, man. So once again, props on that set that you did early on Turn Up Friday show. That thing was dope. If you want to listen to that, you can listen to it on mixcloud.com/turnupfriday. That's where you can catch the set and all of the other sets as well.
And I'll be putting it in my link tree on my Instagram as well.
There it is. So your track Window, right?
Yeah, Windows. Yeah.
Yeah, Windows. So tell us about that, how that came to be.
Yeah. It's my first beat on my new PC that I bought. That's kind of where the name came from, because the operating system is Windows.
I figured that's
simple enough. Yeah, I had to make the upgrade. I've been on a MacBook 2013. It's great, but I needed to upgrade my power. So not everything that I use is on my PC yet. So I had to get a little clever with this beat. I normally kind of like use Omnisphere a lot. Like I kind of use it too much. Don't currently have it on the PC. So it was nice because I had to really kind of get crafty with my design and everything.
So what'd you do, like stock VSTs? Or?
I actually ended up using my analog synths a lot more. So I busted out my Make Noise O-Coast and I recorded a few patches on that, and then I also was using my Moog 32 with my Eurorack modular like set up on top to do some like LFO stuff, and it's like a Russian VCA that's got like distortion on it that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it was a lot of in-house stuff. I used actually Fab Filter's Time, I think is what it's called. I forget the name of it. It's Fab Filter's only instrument plugin that they have, and it's like one of the few plugins that I have on the PC right now. So I was like, oh, whatever, I'll check it out, see what's good with it.
Right on. Well, go ahead and introduce it for the people, and drop that for them.
Yeah, so I'm Future Elevator, and I just dropped my new track, Windows. You can find it on SoundCloud and soon enough on Spotify and all other platforms, Audius, all those good stuff. But yeah, check it out.
With that being said, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, my boy, for coming through. Appreciate you. And Future Elevator, make sure you check him out on all social media platforms. It's Future Elevator?
Yep, Future Elevator.
There it is. SoundCloud, Future Elevator.
Yep.
You got to check out all his stuff, man, for sure. With that being said, let's get into it. You're locked in. Squat Talk.